Apparently it's Columbus Day.
That's no.
Yeah,
do you guys still have that?
Because like Thanksgiving in the United States is like where we pretended to feast with the Native Americans.
Yeah, yeah.
And we're like, oh, look, we got together so well, you know, and it's about sharing with them and our neighbors before we murder them all and give them diseases. And
it's the Disney version of effectively a genocide. Yes.
Yeah, it's a genocide day. Yeah.
Yeah.
But so every Thanksgiving I remind myself that you know, I don't know, I'm not a big fan of Thanksgiving, I'm gonna be honest. For that very reason. It's very I don't want to be remembered as an American for the real meaning behind all that. Yeah, it's actually, now that I'm thinking about it, it's actually really fucking bad.
It is. Yeah.
Here's a peace treaty before we kill you.
Jesus Christ.
Oh man. So it's Spanish and English settlers to my dick, bro. Like it's the same shit.
Columbus Day.
We eventually turned into, eventually was Americans. The past doesn't change, nor does the fact that we remember it. Oh my God, man! Now I just want to have like a holy fuck.
No,
I'm just like, it's all sort of like, oh Lord have mercy, Jesus.
If we go down this path, I'm going to get in trouble. You know that.
No, I'm not suggesting it. It's just one of those like, the last time I had this kind of like thought about it, was probably like 10 plus years ago. So for me right now, it's kind of, how do I put this? I have 10 years of all the extra history I've learned. And so rethinking about it is like completely reframing it for me, even further. Okay, so it's actually insane. It's only been a week and like 2 days, a week and a day since I've become director. A lot has changed, and I'll kind of update you on some of those things. I brought in Ruth Brooke.
Okay.
I've recently, actually, as of yesterday, fully promoted her. We have Jessica Springfield coming in on shift 3. I will say, as a baseline, and this isn't a surprise, but the past God knows how many administrations really, I think, butchered any semblance of like organization. And what makes sort of matters worse is well, let me just text Chris just so.
Sure. Yeah.
Meeting. What sort of best kind of describes the current situation is that, so not only was there no organization, lack of real report writing, and I want to specify what that means is law enforcement is never going to realistically write everything down. It's just not realistic at the pacing of what San Andreas happens. So like, if let's say you told me something of material towards, I don't know, somebody like Faceless, just say, I may not write that down, right? If it's like a wavering comment. If this was like a 30-minute conversation with a shitload of detail, then I probably would, right? That's fairly normal. Once again, because of pacing, we would never be able to do anything if that were the case. Sure. But there's like nothing. There's just for a lot of the big budget cases, there's virtually nothing. We've had to rebuild. But we've done so pretty well thus far. you will be appraised about a classified situation, hopefully within the next week. For clarity, one thing that I've tried to do when this operation took place, it was run by the marshals in terms of organization. That means intel provided to both the BCSO and the LSPD. We subsequently also tacked in TRT, the tactical unit, to do combat, whereas we had a unit doing intelligence. We're going to continue iterating on those things. Why? Because some matters are simply not meant for just the generic police, right?
Sure.
There needs to be an out-of-the-box thinking. This particular incident has very sensitive things in it. However, it will be like salinated, and that information will be provided to all the legislative authorities when the time is appropriate. How we manage those things is something that is still sort of being worked through. I would ask you a favor, even though this isn't you're not legally obligated.
Sure.
If it turns out you hear things from specifically members of government, including law enforcement, please do let me know, as I think we are entering into a realm of just severe gross leakage. And we've already been learning quite a bit about that just in this week alone. I've been doing this sort of work for some time. I have senses, right? Like, I can start to tell when there's a problem. Now, I'm going to highlight some of what I'm aware of. I know that the DOJ leaks to some degree. I don't know who. I have been told that there is some... I need to follow up with one of my marshals, but they've got evidence of one. It probably extends beyond that. We have a secondary issue where we have members of law enforcement, because we don't... Right, people come and go.
Sure.
They may read things that are sensitive and then freely use it as a tool for their own selfish desires. For example, hey, Michael, it's so funny you murdered that guy yesterday, right? Like, oh, hey, you murder anyone recently? Just as an example, let's say you had a murder investigation that I just happened to read the report of. Now, it's kind of gross in the sense that, you and I don't know each other like that. I have no reason to be saying this. I'm just doing it for my own content. It's just, personal, right? Because I like to laugh or whatever it might be. So with all that said, let me kind of cut the background a bit. There's a couple legislative problems that I have sort of uncovered while doing all this, and I'm starting to understand why things like the faceless or any of these like the archivist or whatever these big budget name things are not actually properly investigated. The first is obviously incompetence, lack of care. A lot of people have just given up. But the second is because we don't actually have... I'm going to tell you what I would like to do, and I've spoken to Sean about it. And then maybe it's better that if you have questions about it, you ask me instead of me giving an entire diatribe. I spoke to Sean. We dealt with a faceless situation about a week and a half ago, and many cases prior to this, where people are not being charged. And I think part of the problem is that with whatever this incident was that a week ago, it has taken roughly an entire week simply to get subpoenas, financial records, etc., etc. This is with some of the best and brightest that we have in the marshals. Right. These aren't dumb fucks. These are like, you're not going to get any better than that-esque individuals. By the time we have the information, it's already too late, right? And what makes it worse is said individuals, I can already tell are like cooked. Like this entire department's been, including myself, walking around like damn zombies.
Yeah.
And so I utilize this exercise as a way to understand what our personnel needs are, what the difficulties are, blah, blah, blah. My conclusion is as follows. We need a state of enemy of the state legislation. Okay. Now, speaking to Sean, and he's going to set up a meeting. Obviously, there's like, some like furry con taking place right now, so a lot of people may not be around.
Yeah, fucking weirdos.
But I want to start with like a small subset of individuals to cook up effectively state of emergency or enemy of the state that leans on two matters. One is treason, and the second is terrorism, and other kind of like those sort of ticket items. A enemy of the state, and this is like blue skying, right? So how the framework of this looks is, I think it requires sort of a bit more of a joint conversation here. Is that there are going to be individuals whom have no statute of limitation, who effectively are attempting to destabilize the state. Archivists, baseless individuals at the top of that echelon, right? This legislation would allow law enforcement to effectively build a case and push via a hearing, specifically with named justices, where you argue such and such individual is a enemy of the state. Let's take an example. Let's say, for example, I'm sorry, to my left, next to Michael, what's your name?
Hubert.
Hubert.
Galloway.
Let's say, Hubert, you are an individual that is attempting to, you know what, let's actually make it easier. You got Osama bin Laden, right?
Yeah.
A case can be built for Osama bin Laden being on effectively a watch list, enemy of the state. There's enough evidence to, push that forward. At that point, there is a option for that individual to either turn themselves in, whatever it is, get that shit cleared, or alternatively, with that investigation being put forward and the evidence being there, they get donated, demarked as such, and assisting those individuals to effectively make you accessories. Now, what this solves is each and every time, let's say, an individual goes and assists Osama bin Laden, you effectively do not need to reprove that Osama bin Laden is an enemy of the state. Do you see what I'm effectively putting forth here?
Yeah, I
So,
get it. I guess my first question, and maybe you're getting to this though, is once an individual is classified as an enemy of the state,
individual or organization.
Sure. I suppose what allowances does that then give law enforcement? Like, what can law enforcement do that they couldn't otherwise do if the individual or group wasn't classified as an enemy of the state?
That is a great question. So this is two-pronged. One is an awkward conversation of whether or not they are a citizen to begin with, right? As you may or may not know, some of these individuals or entities may not actually be citizens, right? So that would be the first thing that this avenue would provide, because right now that classification simply doesn't exist. Everyone is effectively just treated as a citizen. Now, I'm not talking about removal of citizens. I mean, I mean very quite specifically, these people may not even be in San Andreas. Their paperwork is fake, right?
Sure.
The second is, what would it allow?
Yes.
It would not take a dissertation to obtain bank records and subpoenas for someone that is directly involved with one of these entities, right? So if I, for example, go and I'm making phone calls to Osama bin Laden and showing up to Osama bin Laden's house, right? You know, I'm no longer having to I would not have to prove that Osama bin Laden is a bad guy and my association to them, you know, is an issue, right?
Right.
So,
okay, let's work a hypothetical quick, right?
Mhm.
Let's say this happens, and let's say a group like the Faceless, let's say, is designated as an enemy of the state, right? And you're investigating someone. Let's say you're investigating Hugh to my left here. Your barrier of access for things like a subpoena would be then proving to the DOJ, let's say, that you're a member of the Faceless, and once you make that, once you've proven that, right? Once you've proven that poor
is Hugh a member in this scenario? Okay.
In this scenario, yes, he is, right?
Yes.
Once you are able to link Hugh to the Faceless, then your barrier of access to things like subpoenas or phone records is then dropped, right?
It's lowered. Yes.
Right.
So what you're effectively doing is, as of current, to give you kind of like some insight, we effectively have to rebuild the, due to there being over a year's worth of debt, right?
Yep.
And that's like a key thing here is the investigative debt is so, if I was a director a year ago, right? We would have generated these dossiers a long time back. We would have pre-established docket postings that were sealed a year back, right?
Right.
And inherently, and as if it were to be much like 7 years ago, being an accessory to that post facto would absolve you of your statute of limitation, right? So let's say the legal algorithm in the past existed. It could exist today, but there is a year plus of legal debt, right? And we're facing imminent doom. Right? I'm sure you've heard of. Are you been made aware that they intend to fucking bomb the entire city and or drop okay.
I've heard this. Yeah.
So, you know, there becomes that natural balance of privacy versus protection, right? And that's what this enemy of the state legislation effectively aims, given the doomsday clock has been ticking ever so closer. Now, in your example here, if you were to receive a phone call, right, and that phone call was for, say, 60 seconds, that may be enough for a 6-hour subpoena, right? Has this guy, like, you know, did he get a money transfer? Now, if you, so those things would still exist, right? This would not open the door for, like, you know, Hugh gets like 30 days of his records just completely.
Right.
But then you'd have, you know, let's say now Hugh, so your probable cause would still be required for what his level of involvement was for a incident, for multiple incidents, et cetera, et cetera. So a singular phone call might be, you know, you would say, hey, so had contact with such and such asset through such and such number, or you know, like he got a phone call from Mr. Faceless, right? 24 hours, right? So you're now looking at like probably like 4 sentences, right? Where your probable cause is that interaction, but that access to the breakage of privacy is like 6 hours. Now, if you, however, had multiple phone calls that day, you might get 72 hours, right? If, for example, he's showing up at a fucking weapons drop and his blood is there, and, you know, now it might be like 14 days. Now Hughes is like caught literally, fucking in the midst of shooting down cops for it, that might be 30 days. Now, let's say Hughes is wearing like a blue face mask, right? In a blue tight suit, and running around like proselytizing. Well, maybe his entire life gets ruined. I don't know. So these are obviously example things, but like effectively what's happening here is instead of asserting the larger crime as per the organization, you're now asserting the relationship, right?
Okay. That makes sense.
And effectively, the argument that will be made, and using faces as an example, is Sean actually brought this up, and he was quite correct about it, is they are effectively committing treason, right? And
yes.
And so,
mind you, I don't know how much you've looked into this, Knight, but a lot of charges in that space need a lot of work. So maybe
that's the other thing. Yes.
We don't have our embezzlement charge is dog shit. We don't have a corruption charge. The treason and terrorism charges leave a lot to be desired. So maybe we can wrap all that up. But yeah. Okay. So to recap, right? Enemy of the state designation for individuals or groups, as well as consideration for accessory. It would encompass, let's say, international citizens or non-citizens of San Andreas.
Yeah.
To get the classification, you would need a hearing, right? Between
a closed hearing, more than likely.
Yeah. Closed hearing. And then justice only
and
or judge up.
It may be that's something that we need to figure out. It may be a hearing, or it may even be like a hearing here, right? Closed door. Type shit. I would argue that you probably want two justices to do it, right? And to there to be like some form of, right, there needs to be a balance, right? You wouldn't want a pocket judge that got fucked by the faceless, like making all these decisions, right? You'd want someone to be like, okay, that's not whatever. And effectively, they would also be a conduit for subpoenas and shit in that realm, because we also have that secondary, tertiary issue of what is it? Confliction, right? With the amount of subpoena writing and whatever, you don't want to conflict the entire judiciary.
Right.
I know that there's a lot of like odd conversations revolving around confliction. Everyone has their own mind as to what it is. Some is healthy, in my opinion, for the city. Other opinions are just not it. Unless we want to be bringing in like, backup Justice Artson or someone who's literally on retirement, right? It's a means by which justice can eventually be served for these incidents,
right?
Because we need some of this shit should not be waiting 3 months in court, right?
No, I agree. I agree.
So two prongs. Sorry. There's enemy of the state, but also bolstering and further defining what the fuck is terrorism, right? What is treason? Are there other charges we need to, like extortion, right? These big ticket name things need to be legislated and figured out, as if we grab these fucking terrorists, treasonists, right? What are we sending them in for 15 months? Like, that's cooked.
Yeah. Okay, I will look at these I guess enemy of the state related crimes, these white collar crimes, the corruption style crimes, and I will try and get you back a written copy of at least a first pass at enemy of the state.
Okay, I appreciate that. as we, the marshals, could write something, we don't believe it's appropriate to do so, right? I think
don't
that
mind.
this interaction makes more sense, which is, hey, Mayor, we're gonna all die.
Yeah.
How do we stop? You know?
Okay, just a couple probing questions. The designation, should it fall off automatically after X number of weeks, months, or should it be permanent?
I believe it should be permanent. I also believe as a part of this process, there should be a federal check on that individual or group's statute of limitation. At present, and this is where sort of the DOJ, and I'm like, please, if you can notate this, this is very an important bit. We have no record of non-statuted individuals or groups. It's like a per profile basis. The reason that's an issue is, and I don't think this in a million years, Sean is checking on the faceless stuff, but we need record of it, is like, imagine the faceless were actually shitlords, which they're not. Yeah. And they're like, we're a 30-day statute of limitation, right? Well, that kind of,
yeah,
that's not even, you might as well just bend over and put your, spread your cheeks at that point, right?
Yeah.
But having a database of that is rather important, because otherwise it's a waste of time even dealing with such an organization, because you're not even going to in 30 days establish them to be as such, right? Enemy of the state, in my mind, would require one of two things. Either a pattern of state treason or terrorism, or a declaration of, right? Faces have made themselves rather known, newspapers and otherwise, right? We can establish that. Let's push that one out the picture, because that's the easy one. But you have to say the archivists, right? I myself would be not comfortable. An argument could be made for them, given that they're breaching, state level records, right? But I think they're still kind of in the fence, right? Because we don't yet know if, of the 2 records or whatever that were tapped into, whether, I don't think you did this, but who's to say you didn't just hand them this document, right?
Yeah.
Who's to say a magistrate didn't write the letter A in that tablet? In other words, it's so early that I don't think we have established a truth yet on it, sure. Right? There should be mountains of evidence, right?
Okay, so in terms of statute and the federal involvement, right?
Yeah. When I say federal,
governor and his associates, right? Is that right? Is that what you were thinking? Yeah. I got you. Okay.
Yeah. Which is pretty standard for a lot of cases, but the reality of the situation is nobody actually knows until the situation happens. Sure. And it removes, let's say, an investigative weirdness that you bring some motherfucker in and you're looking at 1 week of their shit and they're like, yo, dog, I've left breadcrumbs for 1 year.
Yeah.
What is this court case? Oh.
Yeah, it's how do I legislate that though? Let me think on it. I'll try and come up with something, and then if we need to, we'll workshop it. But
the benefit of this too, and I think this is the big selling point, is court cases are trash right now, quite frankly.
Yeah, no shit.
I'm not interested in a gangbangers here and there, right? That's local law. Those that if I was a massive criminal organization doing the most nastiest criminal shit, I'd want a solid court case, right? And this would allow us to present one, right? We would invest in diagrams, photos, recordings, right? Theater, right? Theater to match theater.
Right. Fair. Okay. Anything else on this one? Otherwise, I'm gonna pivot for a second.
Go ahead.
Blunt sent me over a bill. Oh, what the fuck is it? Hold on.
Night?
No, Blunt.
No, I know, but is it the night legislation?
I don't know what the fuck that is.
Oh.
It is Bill CH 33901.
Shared report. 33. I do not have a copy of that. Wait,
33901. It's the SASM director shall be empowered to enter into agreements or transactions necessary to acquire, maintain, and manage such.
Oh, yeah.
Are you good with that one?
I'm good with it.
So, okay,
Yep.
I'm going to post that one up. Well, now you've piqued.
Oh, wait, no. Wait, you know what night is. You wrote you made this.
Did I?
Oh, wait, was that the one that you were trying to...
Yeah, it says Michael Rozelle, the creator.
Name Mehdi?
What?
No, that...
Oh, yeah, that one.
Yeah.
That's right.
No, the Mehdi one McAllister made, and I said, don't do that. I'm trying to be around in a year or whatever. Like in 6 months.
Yeah, so the night bill. Have you guys done a dive on that one yet, or?
Listen, brother, send it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big proponent. You know what? Let's review it real quick. How does that sound?
Yeah.
Chris, you want to do the honors? Are you an orator?
I don't have. It's no longer.
What's your state
shared
ID?
with me. 16556.
Do you mind sharing that with Michael?
I already said.
Easy.
There we go.
So this is an amendment to PD Leo's rather than like a whole new piece of legislation. It taxed them on as Article 4 PMCs.
Amend the PD Leo's Act. Is that an actual act?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what it's called.
Just gonna double check. I don't think it is.
Powers and definitions of law enforcement.
Oh, okay. I saw amend. Oh, yeah. Amend see the line after it just in case. Definition: private military corp is a privately owned and operated organization that provides armed security, protective services, or tactical assistance within the state of San Andreas under a valid contract or authorization from a government entity or private client. Okay. Okay. Yep. Means that the active oversight, direct supervision means the active oversight of a PMC or... Okay. Operational clearance means the formal or informal authorization. Okay. Sworn officer means an individual who has taken an official oath of office or service under the authority of the state of... Okay. PMCs may only conduct operations, okay, authorized by a contract approved by provisions of the CAPT Act and or granted operational clearance by at least one relevant.
No, speak it, because this is like a yellow flag. This one, so
yeah. I don't think that me or LSPD or BCSO should just be able to unilaterally take it on. We the supervision should be joint between by a legislative authority, the DOJ, and the it should be joint custody, right? So it says PMCs may only conduct operations within San Andreas when authorized by a contract approved, right? But then granted operational clearance by one. Actually, okay, it's operational clearance. Okay, that. Yeah, the and or on BI1, I think should be and, right? So there's a contract written, sure.
Yep.
But it shouldn't be the way it's written. It says it means in absence. Like I could literally just say, "Hey, forehead besties are now my PMC," right?
Yeah. I get you.
Yep.
Okay.
PMC. Sorry, good.
I was going to say then operational clearance being granted by a legislative authority, the DOJ, and a law enforcement department. Would that be general enough, but encompassing enough?
I think actually, what does it mean by authorized by a contract approved? Operational. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think it should be done by all three because all three should effectively have custody.
Yeah, I agree.
Hey, Maxwell.
Did you want to talk now, Knight?
I'm in a meeting, but I can give you a ring when I am free.
All right. Let me know.
Okay, easy. Bye.
Bye.
What if, so kind of piggybacking off of, preventing just random people saying, oh, well, we're a PMC, here's a contract.
Right.
Changing the article for.
I think we're fine. Chris, I see where you're going with this and tell me if I'm misunderstanding. Because the contract would need to be done via cap bill and because it would need sign off by DOJ legislative authority and a law enforcement agency, any bozo random would not be able to get through unless everyone agreed that they're not bozos, right?
Right.
Yeah. With the changing that he's doing.
Okay.
Yep. I don't, for some reason, do I have to refresh this?
Are you not seeing my changes?
No. Oh, no. Interesting. Okay. It's fine. If I refresh it, I see the changes.
Okay.
Yep. PMCs are not considered law enforcement officers and do not possess the powers to arrest, search, or seize unless specifically deputized for an operation under supervision of a sworn officer. Okay. I don't like deputization is so dumb, in my opinion.
I agree.
So you're not going to see at least my agency do that because, yeah, that's it's such an undefined thing.
Yeah.
PMCs and their employees are required to adhere to all county and state laws. Love it. Love number 4. Yeah.
Yep. That's fine as is.
Chris, can you take notes for me?
Yeah.
And this document, make it a state marshal document, say, requirements of Darkstone ASAP or something along those lines. And we're just writing this down. So as we're going through this, that we can communicate what we need from Darkstone. The number 1 is we need all their DNA. Number 2, we need their equipment registered.
Fingerprints too, Knight?
Yes. Number 3, we need their fingerprints. So I'm going to say some weird shit because we have to deal with it. Is some of Darkstone, and we'll figure this out, may just be showing, maybe popping out of a vagina and growing up to 25 years old the day of.
Yeah.
They may be birthed that day.
Yeah,
We
no,
need
I
a
get you.
stipulation for that, possibly. Do we know? Do any of us know if that's true or not?
I don't.
You know what? Let's leave it at this. Maybe make an exception that some exceptions, if we can get something in there that's effectively like, hey, if Delta One does a special fuck, there might be some magic he's able to do to provide some of those details for us.
I got you.
Let me see something. Yeah, you know what? Let's leave it at that, and then I'll speak to Delta One. We push this forward. Worst thing that happens is we amend this, right?
Yeah. That's fine.
Yeah. Notification. For sake of, if anyone's curious why that's necessary, at present, pretty much if Darkstone shows up, we can't tell the difference between them and the criminals. So, PMC must make a reasonable effort to notify all relevant law enforcement agencies prior to beginning any operation, patrol, otherwise. Okay. I think I shall include. Okay. License numbers of all armed personnel.
Where's this?
It
Sorry?
says notification shall include the location, purpose, and estimated duration of operation, as well as the names and license numbers of all armed.
State IDs, what I was going for, but
Oh,
I don't know why I put license numbers. They already have to register their equipment, which means they'd have to register their vehicles. I think that's just a faux pas on my part.
yeah. I don't
Do you
think we have to
need
go
state
too
IDs? Nah.
state IDs. Yeah. I think we could put that in like B4, right?
Yeah.
So instead of C2, we could put B4 to include state IDs and like names. And I'm gonna actually go on a limb here. I think they should go through the marshals, and I'm gonna tell you why. Some of these people are trying to keep their names classified, right? Marshals can maintain record. Otherwise, we're gonna end up in a circumstance where you may have a cadet in one of the departments because they have a shitload of cops, possibly leaking some of this out. That is my recommendation. I'm okay with it being either agency, but what's your thoughts on that?
No, I'm fine with that.
Okay.
I'm honestly, I'm indifferent. I just don't want it to be restricted to one party if they feel that it's going to become administratively burdensome. You know what I mean?
I think it is going to become administratively burdensome because some of this stuff is weird, right? So,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, someone needs to effectively handle their back end shit,
Yeah.
and back end communication, and spreading them that amongst others, the translation of the weirdness into city words being done by multiple people might get really confusing. So,
Right.
what is slow saying? What do you mean? Whenever you're ready, I'll continue on.
Yeah, I'm just making an update. One
Yep.
second.
If you could add B on B4, said names may be obfuscated in records to, you know, like some shit that says like, look, dog, we might call them like, you know, Delta 5, Foxtrot Charlie, right? But their personal names may be maintained, like, you know, off record.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. You can update it now.
Okay, good. Okay, love it.
I didn't want to go too hard on the obfuscation. I think
I
just saying
love
that as a
it.
blanket. Yeah.
Yeah, ain't listen, dog. Ain't nobody reading this shit as I'm sure we've started to notice, right?
Yeah.
Let me for C2. I do think location purpose equipment.
So I had that down in D4. I'm gonna move it up.
Ooh, okay, beautiful.
So the reason D equipment, weaponry, vehicles, and so on is important is because if they have to follow all state laws, they can't use class 2s. However, if they're required to note all vehicles and it's signed off on as part of receiving operational clearance, we could legislate that grants them authorization to use the equipment.
I like that.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah. Whenever you're ready.
Yeah, go ahead and update it.
All right. Beautiful. Oh no.
What the fuck?
Chris,
What is
I am
that?
authorizing you to get the night shark.
You mean to go get that now?
Yep. I know that sounds contradictory. I just want to be the only person given the keys, so y'all are protected
Yeah.
from bullshit.
I got you.
Yep.
I'll be back.
Hey, and I want you to 311. Night has cleared Night Shark for government entities, right? On 311,
Gotcha,
so they're
gotcha.
notified. In fact,
Gotcha.
fuck the Night Shark. Get the one with the guns.
You got it.
All right. We may get attacked here shortly. Zombie outbreak. We have a armored vehicle coming your way. We'll keep you sorted in interim.
Okay.
Which I know I'm going to segue a bit. No, my department will not be using snipers. Any form of armored vehicle, including the Night Shark, which apparently is not considered a tank, even though it looks like one. So that, you know, it doesn't look strange until there's shit revolving around it. Fuck. Speed run. Just in case we get attacked here. PMC shall conduct all operations. PMCs will be may not be independent may not independently enforce laws, use advanced equipment or weaponry, except in self-defense or when acting under direct supervision.
I think we can
Okay.
remove that now that we added C3.
I actually like that, like doubling down on it. You know what I mean? For the AC/DC readers, right?
Yeah.
Agree or disagree? Like,
Yeah.
okay,
No, I'm good with that.
okay. PMC shall defer to the jurisdiction and authority of the primary law enforcement agency in the area of operation. Okay. PMC must adhere to the laws of San Andreas.
I think if you look at Roman numeral 2.2, if we add after lawful joint operation, add to the end with operational clearance, I think I'm good with that.
I love it. I think this is good.
Yeah.
I say we send it, and then as if we find holes, we can always like patch it.
Yeah. Okay. I'll email this over to Junior along with the other one. We'll get both of those put up. We should be good.
The other thing I want to add to sort of the list of outside of state of emergency is expanding. Sorry, enemy of the state is state of emergency.
Yeah.
I want to have internal marshal SOPs. Effectively, I want to implement the DEFCON system.
Yes, the colored system. You had
Yes.
mentioned you had wanted to do that.
I don't like. I think it's. I'm pulling back our resources right now. Like, you know, the night shark and whatever, because I'm trying to bring back a level of seriousness to the marshals, because quite frankly, and I see some of the behaviors today, which I'm stopping, which is we take out a civilian helicopter as if that's cool. We take out tanks. We're dressed a certain way. It's kind of cringe, in my opinion. Some things are so powerful, and not in a weird way, but more like, you know, a fucking tank on a bank truck doesn't make any sense, right? There needs to be a standard, and the higher that DEFCON level, the more equipment I want to see the marshals having access to. However, certain levels of clearance should require sign off beyond just the marshals, right? Because we're talking about a state of emergency, right? Which, in my opinion, like maybe a red requires all three legislative authorities. Not all three, but it might, maybe not some. Maybe on some things, I don't know. But I think some of that needs to be defined, and then our SOPs around it.
I have another issue with state of emergencies. I don't know how focused you were on it, but the impeachment hearing of Gunner Kane. Are you familiar with that?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a fucking banshee?
No, they're fucking zombies, brother. They jump 1,000 feet into the air. They will latch onto your neck. I saw one of them over here the other day, and they were eating out this, like, I don't know who the fuck it was. It was someone that was, it might have been a faceless spy, but he fucking jumped him and started eating his ass, and his ass just started bursting in blood. Yeah.
Okay. Impeachment hearing of Gunner Kane. The argument that was made during that was there wasn't a state of emergency because I didn't declare a state of emergency. I say I mean Gunner Kane didn't declare a state of emergency, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
When we have military grade vehicles, airplanes, you know, helicopters.
He declared it?
He didn't. So we said, because he didn't declare it, there wasn't a state of emergency, right?
Correct.
And I argued that just because you didn't declare it doesn't mean there wasn't a state of emergency. We had military vehicles discharging their weaponry in the city. If that doesn't constitute a state of emergency, I don't know what does. So, listen, I know you're not incompetent, so I don't think that's going to happen again, but Jesus Christ.
I do like a notion of having some clearance where it's crimcom and no one's around and we're dealing with some shit like this. But I think getting the ball rolling on what that looks like, even if it's like a post facto, like, You know, I don't think Gunner's situation would have been that bad, in my opinion, had those things. First off, he knew in advance it could have been fired out, right?
Yeah.
But let's say something happened in the moment. We literally have a war breaking loose, and entities are not reachable. I should at least send a notice, and if that notice is not replied to, I should be able to engage. But I must, upon notice, you know, the entity should be able to be like, no, dog, bring it down, right? Or let us know what happened at the end with a debrief, right?
Yeah.
I think
I hate doing this, right? I hate making checklists, but I think if we go with a color system, like you say, and it's very clear that if X, then Y, then I'm good with it, right?
Bean,
Brian, I need the.
we have the tank coming out. FYI, I'm the only one that can clear it. We're bringing it up to the observatory. We're with the mayor right now. We need to make sure he's secure.
Okay, can I grab one of the APCs? I'm sorted.
Negative. We've already pulled all them for the next couple days. Yeah, there's a new shit happening soon.
You need to get to the bottom of bold.
Not to mention, they're not even in my name right now because Gunner Kane ripped. And yes, we can rate it, but look, I don't want what some might see as one thing end up that everyone ends up getting impeached because of dumb shit. You know what I mean?
Fair enough.
Yeah,
We're going to the bottom of bold, maybe.
Come up to the observatory. We'll come up to the observatory.
Okay, we're coming.
All right, see you in a
I'll be
sec.
up there in 2 minutes.
All right. This is the other reason I need to do it, because I don't want someone being like, oh my God, why did you do this thing that, you know? Are there any justices not going to CrimCom?
Is Murray? Seems like something Murray wouldn't attend. Yeah, Murray's awake right now.
Is he? Okay. I need to talk to him to transfer all the shit over. Like I said, Gunner literally just dipped with like millions of dollars of state assets.
Wow, that sounds like a crime.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a crime or like it's like that's how he's holding it. You know what I mean? I mean, then again, apparently he's around and he's like I don't know. That guy just needs to be shot in the face. To me, it's the equivalency of like whoever owns like, you know, the court center maybe not coming around and getting your shit fixed if you needed it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You should go there. Have you gone there?
Well, according to Edgar, you haven't done anything with it, and I tried to explain to him like,
have you seen it?
No, I haven't, but I'm at least tapped in enough to know that there is something happening, you know?
It was completely remodeled.
Yep.
There's
I
a
heard.
fucking animal conservation group operating out of there.
Oh, here we go.
Like a zoo and shit. Oh my God. Okay, yeah. Oh God.